Hey everybody, welcome back to the Media-ocre podcast. I am your host for today's episode, and with me is my beautifully consistent in everything, Cody Wood, my beautiful co-host. How are we doing, Cody?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, man?
Doing good. Just starting a new job actually this week
Oh,
as
yeah.
a paraeducator, which is proving to be, honestly, I kind of like it. I wouldn't
Okay.
know how I could work with helping kids, and I'm finding
Yeah.
that I'm doing a pretty good job, I think. So
Nice.
that's going good for me. And
That's pretty cool. Is it just like helping like with kids like any like with special needs, or is it just like regular kids or?
it's both ways. So I kind of just
Okay.
sub wherever I'm needed, and if anybody that would normally be there is gone, then I take up their place. So I've helped
Okay.
in a variety of different classrooms so far, and I've only been
Okay.
doing it for a few days, and it's been all
Nice.
right. I don't want to quit yet, I guess. Uh, what about you, man? What's
That's
going
cool.
on?
Um, Not too much. Like I got my brother got married last week, so that was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
how was that?
Um, no, it was really good.
Yeah,
We it was like a Viking pagan themed wedding, and
that's cool.
so us as brothers had to or not had to, but like we got to like dress up as Vikings,
That's
and
pretty
like
sick, honestly.
it was actually pretty cool. So
Yeah.
um
Do you guys have weapons and
but
stuff, or?
not with us, because like so like I have like a real like I don't know if I told you, so like when me and Kayla got engaged,
Mm,
so I gave her a ring, right?
as one does.
um as one does. And for my gift, she got me an engagement sword.
Okay, that's actually pretty sick.
No,
You
yeah,
you
it's
d- you know
pretty
you haven't
really
told me
really
that.
cool. Yeah, like I was just like showing her like weapons and stuff like that. I was
Mm,
like, these are really cool. I would like to like start owning more weapons and stuff like that. And she got me an engagement sword.
that's really
Um,
cool.
yeah,
Is it
and
like
so it like looks like
is it like a specific type of sword or?
yeah. So it's called an earth. I think it's called an Uthberg sword.
Okay.
So Uthberg swords are the swords that Vikings like. It's the style of sword. So
Mm-hmm.
like, it's made to replicate the kind of swords that Vikings used to have.
Okay, cool.
Um, and so like it's really really cool looking, really like really hefty, and
Yeah.
so
Have you? Is it how big is it?
I'd say it's probably about like three. Like the blade itself is probably like 3 feet long.
That is a sizable sword.
It's pretty good. Like this sword, it's not like a replica sword, but it's a replica, but like it's a very functional replica. Like
Hmm.
it's meant to like it's actually sharpened, it's oiled up, like how you would like have like a maintain an actual sword,
That's sick.
and like it's a real sword, and so it's I've been meaning to try it out sometime to like go cut some stuff or whatever. I think that'd be
Yeah,
really fun.
that'd be super cool. I mean, you do come from Viking bloodline. Um,
Yeah,
have you seen Vinland Saga?
I have it. That's been one of the animes I've been meaning to like watch.
It is so good. I'm watching Attack on Titan with my brother right now, but after that, we're
Okay.
watching Vinland Saga, and I've already seen it. I'm caught up, but it is so
Nice.
so good. You will love it. You will love
I
it.
bet.
It
It's been
is
on like
amazing.
one of my anime lists like for so long, to like once I've heard of it, I was just like, there's no way something this cool can exist.
Dude, it's better than a lot of stuff that's been coming out. Like, there's a lot of good anime that's been coming out, but like this one is
Mm-hmm.
it's special. The manga started like over 20 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy.
I have the first few volumes. Like
Okay.
sometimes what they'll do is they'll compile 2 or 3 volumes into one, and it lets
Mm-hmm.
them, makes it cheaper at least. And so I have the
Okay.
first two of those, which is probably the first 4 volumes.
Oh,
And
okay. Yeah.
that's not past what they have in the anime yet, but
Oh,
that
wow.
show has made me cry. It's made me laugh. I'm on the edge of my seat. It's so good. Um, I I can't wait to finish Attack on Titan. That way I can
Mm-hmm.
watch that with my brother. Um,
For sure. No, we so like Kayla's not into anime too much.
mm,
But we find like certain animes that like she's seen and stuff like that, and like so like we find ones that um we've been wanting to watch. We're watching right now Spy X Family.
that one's really
And
good. I think season two's
uh,
coming out right now.
oh really?
Yeah,
That's good to
I
know.
haven't seen it
We
yet, but
for a second, like we stopped watching it because they didn't have enough dubbed
mm,
episodes.
right.
And so we were waiting for more dubbed episodes to come out, and then finally the rest of the season came out with dubbed episodes. So we're starting to watch it again. Right now we're actually on a kick of like watching cartoons from like our childhood.
Nice. Like what?
So I've showed her like Adventure Time. She never watched Adventure Time.
Mm,
But I watched that show like completely all the way through, like a couple of times, and so finally showing her that, and then she showed me. Have you heard of the cartoon, Star versus the Forces of Evil or something like that? It's like
I
on Disney.
I have heard of that show.
Yeah, like so like I've only heard of it too, but she said it was really good,
Mm,
and so we started watching that. We've mostly completed that one already.
okay.
And then we're about halfway through on Adventure Time. And so, yeah,
I've
we've been just like watching each other's like favorite cartoons as children to like, I don't know, just another fun thing that we like to do.
Yeah, I mean, I when I was growing up, if I ever visited my grandparents, which was a few times a year, we would
Mm-hmm.
they had like an Xfinity on demand sort of deal. We didn't have cable television.
Oh yeah,
We we were more into video games than watching TV when we were young.
yeah.
But whenever we went to our grandparents' house, there was this Xfinity on demand thing where I don't know, maybe every few months or something like that. I don't know how often
Mm-hmm.
they would for these different shows like Adventure Time or Chowder or
Yeah,
Flapjack or anything like that, SpongeBob. They would have like 6 random episodes from those TV shows that would just be there. And we would often just click on a random Chowder or Adventure Time episode and just watch it. And it was always fun. But I haven't actually sat down and seen Adventure Time. Although I've heard it's
oh
like
really?
amazing. I've heard it's really good. Like it has like
Yeah,
some like episodic like, oh, this is just for this episode, but like it has an actual story to tell.
yeah. There's like so there's certain episodes in Adventure Time that are a story in itself for one episode.
Mm.
Um, and then, but most of the series follows, the same story. But like, it's some episodes can get pretty deep. Some episodes can make you laugh like really, really hard. And I've always liked Adventure Time. Regular show is really good watching growing up.
Mm.
Um, we should watch Adventure Time. That would be a good one.
Yeah.
To finally like watch with you, because like I don't know, because like I watched it as it was coming out, so it was like it does speak back to like childhood. I
Sure.
did show Kayla Chowder, but she wasn't really a fan of it.
Oh, that's too bad. I love Chowder. I can watch that
I
today
like
and still
Chowder, too.
laugh.
Yeah, like I will grant it. It's a very specific kind of taste of humor.
Not sure. Yeah.
Where like
You
Adventure
gotta.
Time has a lot of different kinds, so like it's able to like hit no matter what
Yeah.
kind of a feeling.
I feel like you got to be pretty stupid to enjoy chowder, and that's why I loved it growing up.
No, yeah, because I'm freaking I'm dumb. So
Yeah,
like,
it's our target
I-
audience.
I I was gonna say the R word, but I don't know if we wanted to use that word or not.
I mean, like that's kind of the demographic, though, right?
Yeah, no, it's mainly for kids and stuff like that, and dumb adults. And
Yeah.
So, and like so, I personally will never grow up from like cartoons and stuff like that, and especially
same.
being able to enjoy it like with my wife. I know I'm gonna enjoy it with like my kids in the future.
Yeah, especially something like what you have been watching. I mean, Spy X Family, like that one's pretty wholesome, but it's also got like some action and comedy. It is like a really good all arounder.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love those shows. But I really want to. Can you hop on the Segway with me?
I would love to hop on this Segway with you.
All right. Okay. I had no idea how.
Oh no, we're gonna crash!
I had no idea how I was gonna segue from that into the WikiHow we're doing today.
Yeah.
It's probably the most.
No, you're all good.
It's probably the most meta option we could have chosen, but since we still are early on, it's our second episode. I think that we could do one for how to start your own podcast. Are you seeing what I'm seeing right now?
Yes. You just shared it with me.
Okay. So, How to Start Your Own Podcast, co-authored by David A. Payne, JD. I don't know what that means.
JD. What is JD?
I don't know.
Is that like
Okay.
true crime podcast? What's JD? Because like that's like a PhD. I've heard that, but like
Yeah.
what is he? What does JD mean?
I don't know. I really don't know. I guess we'll just have to find out. I'm gonna go back real quick.
I'm actually Googling it right now.
Oh, really?
What does JD stand for?
Yeah, he is the host of Somebody Somewhere, true crime podcast.
Ah, the Japanese domestic market.
Oh, wow. David, going overseas and making sure to bring information he learned over in Japan over to this very own podcast. Well, he's a host of a podcast himself, so he has at least a little bit of experience, it seems.
Yeah, he does actually. So I can give him maybe the benefit of the doubt. He probably knows a little bit here and there, but to be honest, I think we should have co-authored this one since we have a podcast.
Yeah, being the experienced veterans that we are, I think that we should have a say, and that's why we're looking through this podcast to be able to fact check and make sure that David knows what he's talking about. But before we get into this, Cody.
Yeah.
What are we drinking tonight?
Some undisclosed liquid in a bottle.
Oh wow, yeah. I wonder what's in there.
Beats me, dude.
Yeah. For our audio, for our audio only listeners, it's a water bottle.
It's a water bottle.
And for me, it's just some fruit punch Mio water.
Oh, nice.
That's what we're dealing with today.
I like that.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that. I've been drinking a lot more water recently.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean it's a good thing, but it's very uncharacteristic of me. Anybody who knows me know that I'm a soda fiend. But I've been on a water binge.
Very
recently.
very true. I remember you always coming in with like a soda like on the mission, like or like
Circle K
when we
stops. You remember that?
We eagerly took that Mountain Dew pack from the Judkins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's this family that we used to visit, the Judkin family. Shout out to them. We freaking
Mhm.
love them.
They are amazing.
Freaking saved us from a mountain of depression.
Sure.
They're truly saints. But Brother Judkins had a huge pack. What was it, like a 36 pack of Mountain Dew,
Just
or
a
24
ton.
pack?
Just a ton.
Just like this big case of Mountain Dew, and he didn't know what to do with it, and he didn't like the flavor, so he's asked us, "Hey, do you want this?" And we're like, "Oh, of course, we'll take this off your hands."
Please. Yeah, they're amazing. Like, I still get the ghost pepper salsa that they got for us.
Yeah.
I still get that.
Oh, I love that. That's cool. It was really good salsa. I'm not a huge spice guy, but I did like that salsa. It was pretty good.
It was really good. Like, for ghost pepper salsa, it wasn't as hot as you'd think it would be, but it was still, like, had that really good spice. It was enough to get your nose running a little bit, which is, like, perfect. But actually, I think... Wait, Brother Judkins has a podcast of his own, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has...
just a couple of dads.
If I remember correctly, it's... Yeah, Just Some Dads. That's the name of it.
Do you want to put a link in the description?
We'll put a link in the description.
We will. They're amazing.
Maybe we should have Brother Judkins come on for an episode.
Dude, that'd actually be great. I saw him just... maybe... I saw him last year. And, like, just grabbed some ice cream with them.
I remember you texted a picture of you guys visiting with each other when I was still out in Colorado.
Yeah. You're like,
and
F you
I
guys.
said, I was never, like, so happy and so pissed at the same time.
Because I remember we said that, like, we'd see him, like, together after the mission. And I guess I just couldn't wait.
Yeah.
They had, like, a family friend or something in Idaho, and it was just... It was too easy.
Okay.
It was too easy.
Too easy.
Too easy.
We should go take a trip to Colorado and visit them.
Yeah, we should. We should.
I haven't talked to them since the mission, so.
Well, we might be
probably
after
hit
this
up
episode.
Brother Judkins sometime.
Yeah. Okay, but before we get too sidetracked, he has a podcast, but so do we, damn it. And we're going to be learning on how to start our own podcast now that we've started our own podcast. So what has David got for us? He says, creating, promoting, and distributing your podcast to reach an online audience of possibly millions is relatively easy. Thank goodness. Podcasting is becoming more popular as many bloggers turn to internet radio to get their music and messages out. You can get your podcast online in just 5 to 10 minutes. All you need is yourself, some recording equipment, internet access, and an interesting topic to talk about. Okay, well...
I like how it said, like, it's relatively easy. I was like, oh, thank goodness, because this is my career choice now.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like, I dropped everything for this, so hopefully it works out.
I just quit my last job, so...
yeah, it is pretty crazy,
it's better work.
It is pretty crazy how some people will, like, go all in and, like, full on quit their jobs for YouTube and stuff, which is pretty crazy.
For sure.
As well as music and other, forms of entertainment. It looks like method 1. So before recording, now that's what we're working with here. Step 1, determine the nature of your podcast. What will the content be? Write it so you don't forget. Come up with an outline or some sort of organizer to keep track of what you will discuss and or promote. So, for all those hot sponsorships we're about to get, we got to write those down. That way we don't forget. And,
of course, yeah. We were literally practicing earlier, like, about, like, the sponsorships we're going to get. Like,
yeah.
Man, I can't wait to get sponsored by Honey or something like that.
Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends, my favorite game.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Can't wait
Raid
for those.
Honey VPN. Something like that.
Yeah. We were practicing just how that would sound and look like. It was fun. There are countless examples among the podcasts already in existence. Podcast.com lists podcasts by categories, which include comedy, news, health, sports, music, and politics. Some examples include Mugglecast, which covers Harry Potter, novels, and films. The Word Nerds. Okay, whatever. A bunch of inferior podcasts. A bunch of people who don't do their job better than we do ours.
Exactly.
I don't know why they don't have the Media-ocre podcast here in, like, the comedy section. Like, if you're looking...
I know,
yeah,
right?
I mean, come on.
We have a whole one episode.
I mean, we have a whole one episode recorded. But,
yeah.
We're we're in the ground running.
Yeah.
Listen to some of the more popular podcasts to get a feel for style and content. Draft up an outline to keep the awkward pauses at a minimum. If you're going to be doing interviews with your pets, this is something you probably want scripted. What? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. What? I guess if you just want to interview your pet, then you're more than welcome to write a script for them. That way they know what to say.
Yes, because I always want to, like, I'm talking with, like, my cat earlier today. I'm like, so, I'm thinking we should talk about this, and then, like, after I talk about this, you can chime in about this. My cat's like, oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, for sure, man.
Oh, for sure, man. She talks like a regular human.
It's good to have that stuff on paper, because, pets are forgetful. We all make mistakes. And so it's important to make sure you have that scripted out to help your pet be able to play along.
We're all humans.
We're all human.
Like, my cat messes up on the podcast. I'm like, hey, man, it's okay. We're all human.
He's like, yeah, bro, dap me up.
Yeah, dap me up.
All right. Step 2. Choose the products you'll use for the podcast. All right, so let's make sure we got the equipment right, okay? So most podcasts use a microphone, mixer, or even a new computer. Well, I have my old laptop and a microphone I bought for $40, so take it or leave it. What about you, Cody?
I got a new computer gifted to me as a wedding gift.
Nice.
By a friend. And my mic I stole from my brother's room. So
perfect. There are different podcast starter packages for you that you can buy for around $100. Well, we're efficient. Don't rely on the standard and iffy at best microphone your PC came with if you want it to sound as professional as possible. You want a full headset with a noise canceling mic to be positive. Your listeners aren't getting distracted by the sound of your air conditioner in the corner. Your affordable voice recording, a unidirectional dynamic type microphone is good. Okay, I feel like I was weird while saying that.
Oh.
Radio Shack sells inexpensive ones. You can find higher quality ones in music stores. I've just bought mine for $40 off Amazon, and I don't know what type it is. Yeah. I know it's the type that, like, it's not a shotgun, so there are different types of microphones where they'll take audio from both sides or just like a really specific spot. Mine is in a general forward direction, whichever one that is.
I think mine... You said yours is not a shotgun, right?
So I think shotgun, it actually might be. I know that's for a very specific direction, but there might be a different type of shotgun that's even more specific. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
I know that my mic, like, I just said it was my brother's.
The mic I permanently borrowed.
The mic, it can capture sound, like, all over. Like, on front, or on the side and stuff like that. And so, I gotta ask him where he got this one, because I actually really like it.
So, it's asking, with the WikiHow, it's asking, is your podcast going to be portable, or will you record it at home? Maybe you want the podcast using your smartphone or tablet. But the basics you'll need are a microphone and voice recording podcast software. You'll only need a mixer if you have multiple inputs. Smaller units with around 4 inputs will suit all but the most ambitious podcasts. Yeah, I mean, also with podcasts with more than 4 people, like not including a guest. Like I've seen podcasts with like 4 hosts and then they'll have a guest on.
Yeah.
But like those like alpha male podcasts where you'll see like 10 guys and girls just like around the table just
Yeah.
talking, that's just always a disaster. It's
Oh
just
no, it's freaking terrible. Like like I do listen to like the whatever podcasts where
mm,
it's like all like those like like 10 girls and like the host and like his
yeah.
friend or something like that. And I've watched them and I'm like I don't care if like they talk about what is good or like what's not good or like I don't care about their opinions. This setup is just horrible.
Yeah,
Um and like it
really
not only
is.
records their voices but it records like the voices like the echoes in the room, and that's always bothered me. And I'm like I know like maybe they're trying to do this best they can, but like I always get a little distracted with the
With the echo.
just how many echoes they have of just like all these people talking at once.
Yeah, it's because they're normally
um,
shouting.
yeah, because they're usually angry at each other, but
Right.
what are you gonna do? Mommy and daddy are fighting,
Yeah.
but I also like when it said the like you want to choose beforehand, like if you want to make your podcast like portable or something like that. Like the instant thing that came into my head was just the two of us getting into like those like uh mini house like vans, those like travel vans.
Oh
like
yeah. Like the
like
tiny house fans and stuff, right?
yeah, like those tiny house like you make like a van into like a home,
Mm.
right? Those people, van life people.
Yeah.
Just there's me and you pile up in there with our like recording stuff and we just go cross country podcasting.
That'd actually be really fun. What if we like and bring in a stranger every single episode? Like, hey man,
Dude, that's a
like
good idea.
it really. Oh my gosh, we're figuring out how to do a better podcast. Stop.
Everybody, don't you dare take our. We've already
don't take
coined it. It's ours now.
Yeah, don't
You better
take
shut
it.
the frick up.
Don't. Yeah,
Every episode's in like a different state.
yeah, you're like in a different town or a different state, different country.
Tonight we're in Tennessee.
Yeah, like literally, like today we are in like Jacksonville, Wyoming, and we're gonna be recording. Like
Yeah.
we got a podcast today with Aaron, like guy we met today. Like, how cool would that be?
Yeah. You're like, we just met you 5 minutes ago at the gas station, right?
Yeah, but
And he's like, oh yeah.
it'd be interesting though. It'd be hard to get people to actually agree to do that. Like, hey man, you want to come into our van? And we got a whole podcast. Yeah, we got a whole recording thing.
You want to come into my van to record some stuff?
And you won't be compensated.
You will not be getting any ad revenue.
No, it's all going to me. Yeah, that would be a really cool idea. It's probably something that's already happened, but if we did it, it would be better.
But like, of course, if we did it, everything would be better if we did it.
100%.
Honestly,
100%.
I just choose not to because I want other people to have some sort of happiness or glory in their life.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give other people a shot. I don't want to take all the good ideas.
I'm humble that way.
Yeah, I'm humble like that. I'm often told how humble I am. So number 3
You're
is
really good at it. You're really humble.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how I do it, but I do. So number 3 is pick your software. If you have a Mac, you can record using GarageBand, which is already, I think, part of it. It says it right there. There are free software packages like Audacity and expensive software like Adobe Audition. It costs different prices. Some mixers and microphones come with free software to use. This is all like mumbo jumbo that I don't understand because I'm not a smart person. But we are using Audacity. I can tell you that
freaking
much.
like Poindexter crap, getting into like the real specifics. I ain't got time for the specifics.
Mm-mm. Yeah, so for all of our listeners, just know that use GarageBand if you have Mac, use Audacity if you have Windows, and don't spend money on Adobe Audition because
if you want to be an alpha Chad and spend money, by Adobe Audition, we're not alpha Chad, so we're working with Audacity.
That's true. Yeah, we gotta be honest here. I'm not spending money on Adobe Audition or anything else. Audacity, it gets the job done. I will say that. So we're done with before recording. Method 2, creating. Why does it say method 2? This is just like step 2. So creating your podcast. All right. So
what?
So creating our podcast. So
okay.
What we got right now is the WikiHow, like going through there, looking at articles, learning so much, and criticizing so much. And well, let's see.
I'm learning so much, but also becoming more judgmental.
Yeah. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? That's what sells. Yeah. Well, let's see what WikiHow's got for us. Or oh crap, what was the name of the guy who did this? Let's double check. David A. Payne, JD. Let's see what you learned in
Davey.
Japan. Prepare your
David JD. Japanese. What is it?
I don't know, like salesman, Japanese. Oh wait, it's
Japanese
JD. It's
Continental, something like that.
Was it an acronym?
Japanese consultant. I don't know.
Anyway, prepare your content. You may want to put together scripts for what you will say at the beginning of a show when you transition from one story to another. Put your content in order so you can read it down the list. Whatever it is, make sure you enjoy it. You probably won't become rich from this endeavor. Well, signing off. This is the last episode of the WikiHow podcast.
See you guys.
Yeah, see you in the next one. And then like Spectre plays, or like just one of those classic like Minecraft ending songs. We live, we love, we lie. Spend your time discussing or promoting something you really care about. The reward will be in feeding your knowledge, humor, music to others. My main goal is to make as much money as possible. And then maybe knowledge / humor / music to others. I don't know.
I didn't see the slashes between those, so I thought it was all just one word.
Knowledge, humor, music.
Your knowledge, humor, music.
Your knowledge and humor and music.
Everything I do is just all those three things. You're getting 3 times like the amount of like, I don't know, substance at the same time.
Right. Step 2, record the audio for your podcast. This is probably the biggest step, for without your voice, your podcast doesn't exist. Talk in a consistent pace and show passion in your subjects. Read the scripts and don't forget to thank people for being part of the show. Cody, thank you for being a part of the show.
Hey, thanks, man. You too.
You're welcome.
Because
That's how I feel whenever I'm at a restaurant and people thank me for like being there, and I'm like, "You're welcome." Like, hey, thanks for coming in today. It's like, you're welcome, man. I love McDonald's.
You should just play it off like as like real arrogant, like real like big ego. Like, of course. Of course it's an honor. It's an honor for me to be here.
It's always an honor for me to be here. Do you have any idea who I am? I'm the guy who goes to McDonald's sometimes. So
I'm the co-host of the Media-ocre podcast. Have you ever heard of me?
And then I just have to lead it and be like, "Oh, Cody, we haven't started posting those yet."
Yeah.
They don't know how famous we are.
Yeah.
They can't know how famous we are yet. You can have the perfect podcast delivered, but sometimes technical glitches run the show, ruining all your work. Before you begin the actual recording session, take a few samples to test the software, mess with the volume controls, and just plain make sure everything is functioning. Now, that's what we did before we did this, because we started recording, and then I was like, wait, crap, we haven't done Audacity yet, and we both had to start that. So that is important.
That's a good thing.
We're learning.
We caught that.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Before getting like maybe like halfway through like the podcast and then realizing it, we're like, oh frick, we're idiots.
Yeah. Thankfully, that was only like 2 minutes in, so.
Yeah.
Step 3, save the audio file to your computer desktop. Okay, well, we can just skip that step. Okay. I mean, like, okay, save it, tag it,
must
give
be a
it
real
ID.
Idiot if you don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's be real. If you're making a podcast, you probably know how to save a file.
I hope you do.
Yeah. You can tag it, give it ID, anything. Like in Audacity, I think it assumes that you're making music or something. So it has like, album name, track name, artist name.
No, it assumes that you're making music, but I'm not that talented, okay?
No, I'm not. I only have Knowledge Humor. I don't have Knowledge Humor music. Let's see. Ooh, number 5. Create your RSS podcast feed. The feed must meet... Yeah, okay, actually I have no idea what this is. The feed must meet all industry standards for a valid 2.0 feed with enclosures. Tried using a complete solution and service such as Libsyn, Castmate, or Podomatic. See the external links below. For longer podcasts, you'll be paying a small fee. The easiest way to do this is to use a blog. Hop over to blogger.com, wordpress.com, or any blogging service. What is this?
What?
A feed acts like a container for the MP3 file.
Are they adding ads into this? Like, so if you want to go check out my blog.
Yeah, it says... like this one right here, the Libsyn. It says the podcast hosting, distribution, and monetization platform since 2004. Start for $5 a month. I don't know if I have $5 a month, but
nah, I gotta save that for
anything
my soda
else
I drink.
Yeah, I gotta save that for buying Crunchyroll Premium each month
for my anime.
Yeah. Well, this bullet point it looks like it explains more about what it is. It says a feed acts like a container for the MP3 file that tells feed aggregator programs where to get new episodes. It can be done manually with some XML coding. It's similar to HTML. You can copy another RSS file and use the template to make your necessary modifications. So this was too complicated for me. But the Libsyn website is saying the podcast hosting, distribution, and monetization platform since 2004. So I'm just going to assume that it does that, and I don't need to know anymore. But that's just my opinion. So, okay.
Well, it's the correct one.
It is. Yeah.
I was like, I don't think you need to do any of that. I don't think it's that important.
Oh, this looks entirely optional. Okay, cool. All right.
I think putting in the audio is optional too of your podcast.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine without it.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine without the audio. We'll just do the video and then we'll upload it onto Spotify. So
do that with our first episode, just put on yours. And then don't use my side of audio and stuff like that. So it's just you in silence. And then just occasionally laughing.
Oh, it's like I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
So method 3. So this is just step 3. Uploading your podcast. Put your RSS podcast feed on the internet. Go to FeedBurner and type in the URL of your blog and click I am a podcaster. In the next screen, configure the elements for your podcast. These are the elements that directly relate to the podcast. Your FeedBurner feed is your podcast. Go to one of the hosts you find online and sign up there. This may take a while. Then go to your files and upload your MP3. Oh yeah, it's assuming it's not a video podcast. Make a post on your blog/website. The title of the post should be the title of that episode of the podcast, and the content will end up in the show notes or description, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That. Stupid. Skip.
When you can't understand something, you're like, this is stupid. I don't even think it's that important.
Not important.
Skip.
Yeah. This is a give it a second. I'll give it a few
Give it a
minutes.
second.
Give it some time. You can submit it to iTunes.
I follow this step religiously.
Yeah.
I replace all the steps with this step. Give it a
You
second.
give it a second. Yeah, patience is important. You can.
It's a virtue.
Yeah, that's what I'm told. You can submit it to iTunes or a number of other podcast directories. Wait, it says that you may want to wait, however, until you have some experience that your podcast will be compared as a 5th episode to another's first.
What?
So that you're fit.
What?
Maybe I'm stupid. Okay, let's redo this. Let's take a deep breath.
Read that again.
Breathe out. Okay. You may want to wait, however, until you have some experience, so that your podcast will be compared as a 5th episode to another's first. Oh, okay. So it's saying like your first episode will be as good as somebody else's 5th. I thought I got the wording wrong.
Like when you were talking the first time, I thought I had like an aneurysm or something. I was like,
I almost did. I had to take a pause. I had to take a break, a breather, to be able to get back into
quick breather and be like, is this the part where we realize we're not the first? We're not in first place. We're like in 5th place.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, what that was reading. Submitting a podcast to iTunes is fairly simple. The podcast page in the iTunes store has a large button that asks for an RSS link. Blah blah blah. Ping appropriate podcast directories when a new show is updated, and put appropriate subscription buttons on your website so people can subscribe. We are on to the last step. Oh, making money. Okay, this is what I'm here for.
This is the step I needed to hear.
I didn't need the first 3. This is the one that matters the most to me. So we gotta sell the podcast. I don't even need
the advice. I just need the picture.
Yeah. Okay. Podcast.
I saw the picture. I'm like, money. Oh, I'm set.
Podcast to dollars. So, step 1, baby. We need to sell the podcast. All right, baby. We are selling this podcast to anyone who wants to buy it. You can set up a web store to charge subscribers for each episode. What?
No,
that's actually wild. However, a pay-per-listen podcast is competing with thousands of free podcasts. Yeah.
So, like an OnlyFans?
I guess. I mean, your podcast would have to be pretty damn good to make people be like, yeah, I'll pay for every single episode.
Hearing, in order for us to take this podcast even further beyond
the next level,
we have to like set up like an OnlyFans or like an Etsy type of thing.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. I'm down.
Want to do that?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, let's do it.
Right. We'll talk more about that later. I was gonna say we can talk more about that later.
I like how willing we are. You want to do it? Sure. Okay.
The content would have to be very compelling to convince many people to shell out cash. So we'll have to make sure our OnlyFans is top notch.
Of course, yeah. Only the tasteful stuff.
Only the tasteful stuff. In case you were thinking it, podcasts cannot be sold in the iTunes store. Interesting. Sell advertising.
Ooh.
This is step 2. If you insert a commercial into your podcast, listeners can easily skip over the ad when playing back the show on their computers or MP3 players. One option is to get a sponsor for the podcast, or even separate segments of the podcast. You may need to change the title of your podcast to allow the sponsor their due. Be sure you're not bombarding the listener with commercial after commercial. If your podcast is relatively short, a listener isn't going to want to hear 3 commercials in that one small time, especially at the beginning. Yeah, it's kind of... I've listened to some videos and I'm getting an ad at like every 4 minutes. I'm like, dude, are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Especially for like longer content, when it's like over an hour or 2, like really long content, like podcasts.
Yeah.
Like I feel like an ad every 10 minutes is probably like okay. But I also don't know how much you can control that.
I don't even know either. I've listened to like some podcasts that like have done like 3 or 4 ads in like one sitting, like in the middle of the episode.
I feel like, well, I mean, 3 or 4 ads, that seems pretty reasonable, honestly, because it's like every 20 to 30 minutes you're getting an ad, which you can probably skip after 5 seconds. That seems fine to me. All right. Get into web advertising. Step 3. This requires extra effort because once somebody subscribes to a podcast, it is downloaded directly into their RSS reader. Now back to this RSS thing again. They might never see the website again. The key is to tie the podcast into a blog or website and mention it frequently during the show. This will drive click traffic to the site and hopefully create some advertising revenue.
They might not see that website ever again. Want to know why? Because they're never going to go back to it. That's why. Because they're like, I wasted $10 for this?
Yeah, I paid $10 for this?
For this?
Yeah.
That's why they're not going back again, because they hate it.
I wonder if people who try to go for, like, the pay for every episode model, that make, like, the first few episodes free. I do wonder that.
Maybe, yeah.
Think about banner and sidebar ads. The latter is it has a bit more impact because it's longer and you can't scroll away from it. As a result, it has higher click-through rate. Okay. Let's go with the Q&A. I mean, that's
questions and answers.
Yeah, that's the end of the article.
Did our boy Davey answer us?
I don't know, man. He doesn't look like he has any answers. Or actually,
lame.
Oh yeah, these are community answers. We can go through the 3 questions. How does that sound?
Okay, yeah.
How much will it cost to start my own podcast? Well, this community answer says it entirely depends on the nature of your podcast. If you want to start a podcast for your business, then it's going to cost you more. In the case of a simple podcast, you might want to spend some money to buy a microphone of good quality and software to edit your podcast, which is optional. We use Shotcut, which is free and works pretty well. So you can just do it for free. I mean, I already had a laptop. The only thing I bought was a microphone for $40, and the microphones, it's fine. So
yeah,
it's really not you really don't have to dump too much money into it.
Into a podcast, really.
Yeah. Take it from us, the experts. Where's the best place to...
what do I know? I mean, it's not like I'm a host of a podcast. Oh, wait.
Uh-oh. Where's the best place to post my podcast? This guy's saying you could use a site like SoundCloud with an established listening audience. It might increase your chances of finding fans. If your podcast is specialized or focused on a particular topic, you could post a link to your podcast on relevant sites or forums. We still need to figure out where we're posting these. I think it's going to be like YouTube and anywhere you'd normally find podcasts, like maybe on what did it say? iTunes? Was that an option? But like,
I don't know. Is iTunes an option?
Maybe
like Spotify or something.
Yeah, Spotify, that sort of stuff.
I do like Spotify. They said SoundCloud, which I was like, oh, I haven't heard about like putting a podcast on SoundCloud before.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I would have never thought of that. How can I start a podcast with the person who lives far away?
Next SoundCloud rappers.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Podcasts. We're like the next Juice WRLD and Post Malone.
Hopefully not the next Juice WRLD. I don't want to OD.
But, yeah, I don't want to OD at an airport.
That would suck. So this last question is relevant to us. It's saying, how can I start a podcast with a person who lives far away? Now, we live in 2 different places. We live far away from one another. You can really record a podcast using a video messaging program such as Skype. It involves a few simple steps, and it's very easy to record. Now, what we do is, take it from the professionals, as always. We use Discord, and then I have a screen recording software. This is I don't know how efficient or inefficient it is, but I take the screen recording I take that screen recording, put it in Shotcut, and then I take both of our videos, both of our audios, and try to make it all sync up. and it's like, I make it work. I don't know if there's a more efficient way to do it the way we have it set up, but
yeah,
I mean, it's good enough for me.
But no matter the distance, you're always close to my heart, Branson.
Oh my, thanks, Cody. I appreciate that.
Of course.
So let's hear some success stories. So
Ooh.
we can do a few, and then maybe we can write down ours.
Yeah.
Janet Seals says, I am thinking of hosting a podcast. Since I've never done this before, I had to find information on what to do. WikiHow helped me find out what I need to do along with the equipment I need to have to start a podcast. The information was very helpful, and I would recommend this to anyone who starts a podcast. Well, thank you, Janet, for recommending this to us.
Janet, for recommending and for us to not follow your recommendation and only getting to this article now.
Yeah.
Thank you for
7 years later.
For 7 years later.
Almost to the day. This is October 30th, 2016.
Oh, wow.
Wowie, zowie. Tim Randall says, the level of detail on setting up a podcast for the first time was especially helpful. I blog regularly, but have never done a podcast. I believe it to be my best step in disseminating information of interest to me and potentially of interest to many others. Wow. Well, thank you, Tim, for contributing to that.
Thanks, Tim.
And we'll finish off with Trina Lynn. I've been wanting to start a podcast for quite some time. While I have looked up to the subject many times, most sites I found didn't give me enough information. This article is just what I needed, and I look forward to using the info to start my podcast. Well,
bull crap. I promise you, there's probably better sources she could have.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, YouTube has plenty of sources. I don't know if WikiHow's the best, but thank goodness we're here to fact check everything and make sure that this is good.
Wow, this is exactly what I needed.
Just what I needed.
Thanks, Trina.
Yeah. Ooh. Let's share our stories. What do we want to say?
Thanks for the useless information. No, I'm just kidding. Just wanted to read this to fact check you since we're already really good. Yeah, just wanted to read this to.
No, come on. We gotta do an actual one. Our success story.
Our success story.
This.
Started a podcast a while ago before reading this. I'm already doing everything.
I started a podcast a week ago. And just wanted oh jeez to fact check on
I'll fact
how
check you since I'm an expert now.
Doing since I'm an expert now. Perfect. I think that's great.
Perfect.
We'll do Jared Wood.
Yeah. Nice. Is that our couple name?
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your story. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right.
My pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. Just like what we were talking about. Well, there you go. That's the end of that. I think
how to start a podcast. So, any of our viewers want to start a podcast? Don't.
It's not worth it.
You're gonna be competing against us, and I'm gonna say this: it's not a fair fight.
It's not. It really isn't, and not because our podcast would be better than yours, but because yours would be better than ours. Your first episode would be compared to our fifth. Like, that's just how good you'd be. So we really have no skin in the game, and we need to make sure that we're the only podcast out there. This was an enriching experience, I think.
I think so too.
I'm learning so much about what we need to do, and to that I answer nothing because we're the best. But a wonderful beginning to the Media-ocre podcast. Just knowing that we're doing so well, there's nothing else to improve on. So good for us, and good for you viewers for being able to listen to an objectively perfect podcast. So let's see. I think that's it from us. Is there anything that you want to finish off with, Cody?
Well, there's no advice I can give to our viewers, considering we're already perfect.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Actually,
wait a minute.
Legit. Go ahead.
I was gonna agree with you, but I was like, that makes no sense.
I realized what I said. I was like, I jumbled my words. We'll scratch that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But I legit was gonna say, like, actually reading this, like, was like kind of convincing me about getting like some sort of like actual like physical like soundboard.
Really?
I thought that would be kind of cool, and so
yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, but
that's all you got out of this.
I think that'd be like a really cool thing just to have, because like and then like later on, you know, once we're like Joe Rogan famous,
right,
we can give it to our good friend Wyatt. Or our good friend Owen, and
probably Wyatt though.
Wyatt, and then be like, you know, cue that sound, Wyatt, and then pull it up, Owen.
Right.
Owen, can you pull that up?
Again, another shout out to Owen for getting this article for us. He does look through them to make sure that they're good enough to look through. So shout out to him, and shout out to Jake, our social media guy, who is wonderful and my good friend, my bestie of over 10 years. I think that's it for us. I have been your host, Jared Branson, and this has been our co-host, Cody Wood, and I think we'll catch you in the next one. Bye!
See you guys.
Cool. Good first episode.